It didn't seem like a big deal at the time, but now I'm not so sure. Am I the asshole?
I usually feel like petty revenge is always the best choice.
I
think it's
honestly,
really it's so satisfying.
An eye
It's
for an
really
eye.
good. Exactly. Yeah. But is it the right move?
Well, welcome back to another episode of The Dive Talks About Reddit Stories.
Yeah, other people's business. One of the things we do best around here.
Yes, I am excited for this one. I have a couple of roommate ones, which I know you've talked some about your roommate stories, but I think having a roommate leads to conflict inevitably, but these conflicts are something else. So I'm excited to share those.
And before we get into this, I'm just going to say, if you've got a roommate and you've got a good roommate, you got to hold on to that.
You do.
My roommate that I've been with for probably almost 7 years now. That's
Wow.
crazy. But we get along so well.
Yeah, that's like a beautiful partnership. How will you ever separate at that point?
Well, all good things must come to an end eventually.
I'm sad. Don't say that. I'm
sure that these people probably wish it happened sooner.
Yeah, I guess that's true. These people are probably like, please, how much does it cost for a studio apartment? I don't care how small it is. But I remember when I first got my studio apartment, before that, I had 3 roommates and we were like in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment, but it was small. Like it was, the square footage was tiny, tiny, tiny. And I was like, finally, look at all of this space just for me, 600 square feet. But I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been fortunate. Like, I've only ever had like 1 or 2 roommates at a time. Mm-hmm. And we've always had enough space for everybody to not feel like they're right on top of each other. Yeah. Well, actually, that's not true. I did.
Lies.
I forgot because there was one time when I was living in Colorado, I was doing seasonal work. And I lived my first year, my first season there. I was in a 5-bed, 4-bedroom apartment. I did have my own room, which was nice.
There were 2 people, they were doubling up.
Yeah, there was a bunk bed in one of the rooms.
Oh, that's tough. Being an adult, paying your own rent and sleeping in a bunk bed, I think would be really hard for me to take in.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was tricky for them. But I think it was
even if it's cheap, it's still hard.
I don't remember specifically. I think it was a couple who had that room. And so
that's even that always makes it weirder.
It's a double bed. So it's like, even if they are sharing a bed, it's just like, that is a small bed for 2 adults.
Yeah.
It's a small bed for 1 adult.
It is, honestly. It really is. But I think everybody gets to a point where they're like, either you find the ideal roommate or you're like, I'm never living with anybody else ever again. Like right now, the only person who I'll let live with me in my house is my brother. He's allowed to come back, but it's because we both developed the same idiosyncrasies from growing up together.
Well, let's hear what happens with these people and their roommates.
We're going to start with one. It seems relatively tame at first. I read just the beginning. Am I the asshole for eating my roommate's food after she kept using my stuff?
This is a classic roommate.
It is. Conundrum. We've all been here before. Yeah. I, 22 female, live with my roommate, 23 female, and we've been sharing an apartment for about 6 months. Overall, it's been fine, but we've had this ongoing thing about food and shared items. At first, we agreed we'd keep groceries separate unless we said otherwise, but she started using my stuff here and there, like my oil, bread, sometimes eggs, nothing huge individually, but it adds up. I mentioned it a couple of times and she'd be like, oh, sorry, I'll replace it, but she usually didn't. And last week, I got kind of annoyed because I bought a pack of chicken I was planning to cook over a few days, and when I checked the fridge, half of it was gone. I asked her about it and she said, I thought it was fine. You use my stuff too sometimes, which I really don't, or at least I try not to. So yesterday I came home and there was takeout she left in the fridge. I knew it was hers, but I was tired and honestly still irritated, so I ate some of it. Not all, but enough that she noticed. This morning she texted me, did you eat my food? And I said, yeah. She got upset and said that was different because it was something she paid for specifically and was saving. I told her that's kind of how I feel when my groceries disappear. She said, okay, but you should have talked to me instead of just doing it back, which is fair. And now things are kind of intense in the apartment. I feel like I was just making a point, but also maybe I crossed a line by doing the same thing instead of handling it properly. It didn't seem like a big deal at the time, but now I'm not so sure. Am I the asshole?
One thing I love to say in these situations is I usually feel like petty revenge is always the best choice. I think it's really it's so satisfying.
An eye for an eye.
Exactly. Yeah. But Is it the right move in a domestic dispute like this?
I
Like
don't
where
know.
you're dealing with your roommate. Here's what I think. I think that she tried to just talk it out. She was like, hey, you're taking my stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll replace it. That is like, hey, I'm bringing this to your attention and you're not doing anything about it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think she asked her if she had taken the chicken, and the other girl basically said, you thought it was fine. And then I think that's the most of the conversation that they had. But the part that I think is crazy is she like ate her leftovers, and she said that eating her leftovers was different because it was something she paid for specifically. Did the girl not pay for her chicken? Like both of y'all are, I think everybody's in the wrong.
I think so too. I do think that like retaliating by eating somebody's leftovers is different and maybe like a more extreme version.
Maybe.
I don't think that justifying it by like, oh, I paid for it. Like that's like a straw man. Right?
Everybody's paid for their stuff and is using other people's stuff at this point.
To me, that's not like a good argument for that. But I do think that like doing that is like, I don't know if it's crossing the line, but it is like escalating things.
Yeah, I think
because when you have like leftovers in the fridge like that, you're excited to eat it.
Yeah, I always have like an issue when people, instead of trying to approach the problem like with the problem solving mindset, just like go into it to make it worse. I'm always just like, why would you do that? I think this is one of those scenarios where like kind of went in there and made it worse.
Yeah.
Didn't really have to. I totally understand the frustration though, because it is very annoying when people use your stuff. Like my brother steals my face wash. This only happens at our parents' house, but he takes my face wash all the time. And I'll get there and I'll go to wash my face. And I'm like, this damn child has stolen my face wash again. And it drives me freaking nuts. But he's not eating my food.
That's
but
good.
like, it's normal to have things like that. But I'm not going to go crazy over my face wash. I'm just going to be like, can you please stop taking it? And then I bought him his own.
Yeah. Like, how are you going to escalate that? Like, what is the parallel between the face wash and the takeout here? Like,
I don't know. I go and dump out his shampoo.
Ooh, I like that.
Something like that.
Now that's petty.
Yeah. See, I could
that.
be evil if I want, but I'm not going to do that. It's just, I would be like, this is annoying, but it is not worth starting a huge fight over it.
So do you think they're the asshole?
I think everybody is terrible in
I
this
think it's
scenario.
a bunch of assholes.
I don't know if anybody's the asshole. I think y'all all just need to like work on yourselves, probably.
I'm going to say not the asshole, but it's very close.
Very razor thin line. At the top comment says you really should have talked to her like those many, many other times you talked to her. That seems borderline sarcastic.
Exactly.
Somebody said not the asshole. You've clearly talked to her about it before, so you did what she does to you. That said, tell her again she's not to use your groceries, especially because she never replaces it or pays you back. OP actually responded to that one and said, exactly, that's why I was so irritated. I had already brought it up before and nothing really changed, so I got fed up, which is funny because she ate her food. I still probably handled it badly, though. So
yeah, and I think
we love self-aware OP.
Yeah, I do. I really do. And I think that those moments when you feel remorse for those kinds of things, it is indicative of maybe you crossed a line because you feel bad. You would feel bad if somebody did that to you, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to everybody involved.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to move out because you got a bad roommate, you need a job. We got a work-related question here.
Let's go.
Am I overreacting for thinking an icebreaker question was a little too personal?
I hate icebreakers, so I'm already on the side of I'm a hater.
Yeah. Let me start with some backstory. I, 42 male, was diagnosed with ADHD at 36, and I believe I have other autistic traits, but have yet to be tested for sure. One of the hardest symptoms for me is rejection sensitivity. I already hated those getting to know you questions at every office training thing. Today's experience took it past the point of no return.
Yeah, me too, OP. I hate those. When somebody's like, oh, tell me a fun fact about yourself. I'm like, fun fact, I would like to leave. That's my fun fact. Let me out of here.
Oh, my God. Had a training thing at work today, one of those how to be professional refresher courses. The instructor decided to do 2 different icebreaker things because, of course, only 8 people in the class and they had to justify 4 hours.
Double the fun.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. The first exercise was to write 2 truths, not 2 truths and a lie, just the truths. Weird. It's like, I like...
That takes all the fun out of it.
Exactly. Like, we like playing games here at these sorts of functions. Basically, something interesting about yourself, but twice. I had
What
a
if I
hard.
only have one interesting thing? I'm sorry.
What if I have none?
What if I just
What
have
if
a
I'm here
blank
to
piece of
collect my
paper?
paycheck and leave?
Yeah, that's tea.
Yeah. I had a hard enough time writing one thing. My RSD made me overthink and worry how I'll be perceived. So my answers were, I write, and I'm terrible at coming up with answers for these questions. Kind of a classic
So
brush it
real.
off. Yeah.
So every time there's a group of people, one person has to do that.
The second exercise, this one I thought was too much. Maybe I'm overreacting. It was more than the usual favorite song, movie, dessert, era of Madonna's career. We had to pick a song that we were connected with.
Huh.
The instructor then called on us, pulled it up on Spotify, and played it while we were explaining why we connected with the song.
This is too personal for a workplace.
I completely blanked. My brain short-circuited, at least with just favorite. You can just brush it off by saying, I have odd taste, but connect with and why? It made me think of opening myself up and being vulnerable to people I'm not close with at all.
Literally.
And honestly, coworkers should never be that close. When it got to me, I literally said, I can't think of anything and I don't know, to the probing questions that followed. I had to say it a couple more times for the subject to finally be changed, but then I felt off the rest of the day. Obviously, it's not something I'd bring up to HR, and I don't plan on doing that, but am I overreacting for feeling that it was a little too personal?
No, I think it definitely was too personal.
Yeah, I think that there is a pretty straightforward formula for these kinds of getting to know you questions.
They're all terrible.
They're all terrible.
The formula equals negative, bad, zero, terrible, hate it.
I do think that these concerns are very real though. I don't want to overexpose myself to new coworkers or even coworkers who I have. I think that to have a close friend at work is such a rare thing, something that you should cherish. But I don't try to be that way with everybody at work.
I hate when people try to force people who are in a group together to be friends. Just because we are all here together, it doesn't mean that we all are going to get along, and that's totally okay.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot to be said for just being able to be a professional, get along with people well enough to get the job done.
Right.
And understanding that and being okay with it. Be
cordial, gracious, kind to everybody, but you don't have to be everybody's best friend. It's everybody's obsessed with we're a family here and they want to try to force you to be friends. I think that's weird.
Oh yeah. I mean, and I'm glad that people are starting to see the we're family here being a red flag.
Yeah.
It's usually a sign of bad corporate culture.
Unless they're literally family.
Well, yeah.
Unless it's a family business.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if I was at my dad's steakhouse, I was oh, we're family.
Yeah. Well, we are. He's my father. We have the same name.
Yeah.
Last thing. I think asking people questions like this too that require extensive thought. I love music. I have many songs that I feel I could probably say I relate to. I don't know. I always have every week there's some rotation of 5 or 6 songs that are really hitting for me at that time right now, on top of the regular other music that I'm listening to. And asking somebody to pick one of those is just kind of hard and kind of a lot to ask for. And then you want me to talk over it? What kind of homework, thesis, public speaking bullshit is this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I could just pick one of the 4 or 5 songs that are my favorites right now and just be oh, I really like this song.
It's just good. That would be my explanation.
I would pick the most annoying song. So I'm sure I know because I sent it to you.
Scare your coworkers off.
No, right now, what I would do is I'd send in the most grating thing I can, the Angine de Portine, that Canadian noise rock, microtonal.
I hated it.
I know you hated it, but I love it. And I would send that in, and I would see how long they would sit through it until they're okay, Mark, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah.
That's that's a Creed move. You would be the Creed of The Office.
Yeah. Creed was one of my favorite characters in The Office. I'm not going to lie. But I totally understand why somebody wouldn't want to do that. Yeah. Right.
I wouldn't want to do it either.
This was the thing I was going to say earlier is I think that those kinds of questions are formulaic, and to break from that is really we have these tips and tricks that we use, these heuristics that we use to get through some uncomfortable social situations. This is a very uncomfortable social situation for a lot of people, myself included.
Me three.
Answering these bullshit, getting to know you questions.
Yeah.
But since we understand how two truths and a lie works, And since we understand, like, oh, tell us something important or tell us a fun fact, like we understand that and we're able to get through it quickly,
We
easily.
have one that we have.
Because we
can,
understand the exercise. But throwing a bunch of curveballs out here, I don't think they're overreacting.
You don't always have to try to be different.
No, and again,
sometimes you can just do the normal stuff and it works.
Yeah, and again, you know, for a self-aware OP, like they kind of understand their social tics and they just don't want to have to deal with it.
I support them completely. I'm on their side.
Some of the comments here for me when I really connect with a song is probably over a subject that I really don't want to discuss with my coworkers. Very fair.
Yeah.
Workplace icebreakers need to die. Couldn't agree more.
I'm with you. Seems like everybody's hating it.
This is a pretty valid one. Fellow late diagnosed ADHD autism here. And yes, you're overreacting, but only because that's what our brains tend to do.
I mean, maybe, but I don't have either of those things and I hate it just as much.
Oh, yeah. And I don't think that, like, I think the point of that is, like, I don't think maybe you're overreacting, but I think it's a valid overreaction.
Yeah, maybe that's
like, I don't think that OP here is, you know, invalid in any of their feelings.
I agree. Well, let's get out of the office. It's time to go back home. We got another roommates group for us.
Work
the segues are writing themselves. Yeah. We're home and we want to know, am I the asshole for not believing my roommate's quote phobia?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is it spiders? It's always fucking spiders.
I don't know. Okay, disclaimer up front. I understand the seriousness of phobias. I myself have been in therapy for an irrational fear of vomiting that used to be debilitating, but this is just insane. So I, 21 female, have 2 roommates. My one roommate, 20 female, is scared of spiders. She claims that she has arachnophobia, and I'm not a fan of spiders myself, but it's the way she goes about it that's kind of insane. Like the other day, I was talking about how my boyfriend and I got sushi, and I said something about it being a spider roll, and she actually screamed and said I could only use the word arachnid, not spider, around her. Another time, someone said spider, and she immediately covered her ears and started whimpering. My other roommate has much more patience for this than I do, and one day when we were coming home, there was a spider underneath our open stairs. Mind you, we live in an apartment complex with lots of trees and plants around, and this is not our first encounter with spiders on the stairs. But this time, she screams and refuses to walk up the stairs. My other roommate blocks off the spider so she can walk up, but she still won't do it. My other roommate then goes and gets the Lysol to kill the spider. I literally watched the spider shrivel up and fall off the stairs, and she still won't go. After about 15 minutes of trying to convince her it's okay, my other roommate has to head out, and I just go up the stairs because I had to submit some work stuff before the end of the day. She ends up standing at the end of the stairs for an hour before going up, and then eventually comes into the apartment and starts berating me about how she needs me to support her and her phobia, and I was being unsupportive. I understand phobias are real and create significant mental blocks for people, but after her screaming at the mention of the word spider, I'm starting to think she's just afraid of spiders and maybe overreacting. Am I the asshole, or is arachnophobia really that serious?
It's always fucking spiders.
Everybody's afraid of spiders. Yeah, I don't know if arachnophobia is that serious. I'm going to have to say it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I am an adult who is afraid of spiders. And
you are?
Yeah.
You're an arachnophobe?
I'm not an arachnophobe because I'm able to deal with it. Is the thing. Like, that's the thing. Like,
you just don't like them.
I just don't. Look, and sure.
I don't know anybody who really does.
No, I mean, when I was younger, I was like more afraid of them. And now it's just like, you know, like the small everyday kinds of spiders. Yeah, I don't mind them. Like, I'll kill them or I'll move them out of the house.
Yeah, you live kind of tucked in some trees too. I imagine you get some spiders.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and I am definitely more support because, like, I think I've come to accept like that spider that lives in the corner of like a certain room and like helps out with the bugs.
Right.
Like, I think that's okay.
So you're letting them live amongst you now.
Yes.
You've really grown a lot.
But I do have a threshold, right? Like, I think like once we get to something that's like bigger than maybe like, you know, your thumb or something like that. Something like, you know, I think that that's like a fine size, acceptable spider size. But once we get bigger than that, I don't want to deal with it. You know,
I don't know spiders that are really bigger than that. Are you talking about the body or like the legs included?
The entire mass, right?
You don't want it to be bigger than your thumb.
I don't want them to be big at all. I want them to be small and out of the way
and frankly, easy to squish.
Yeah, and frankly, I just don't want to see them at all. But like, you know, if I have to interact with a spider, I don't want it to be that large.
Yeah.
or fast or anything
or
really.
close to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally understand phobias.
Yeah.
But I think that if you have a phobia that you know of that is this debilitating, it is your responsibility to do something to get help for that.
Oh, I agree. I think that we as a society are so much more understanding of like the impacts that like, mental illness. And I do think that phobia would be like a type of mental illness, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that if you have something that causes this much challenge in your daily life,
it's your responsibility to make moves to address it.
There are people who can help you and you can go and find them. And I think that this is clearly having a massive effect on this person's day-to-day life. And at a certain point, it can't be the responsibility of her roommates to stand with her for an hour because she won't go up the stairs because there's a dead spider underneath it. That's just not reasonable to me.
Certainly not. I'm going to say not the asshole. I think that like you don't need to be rude to people about spiders. Some people like me specifically are afraid of spiders.
Right.
Well, we just don't want to deal with it. But I do think, I think that I think that the woman who claims to have arachnophobia is definitely overreacting a little bit.
It is extreme.
It's a little intense.
The response is extreme.
Yeah.
There is an edit here that says, okay, thank you everyone for sharing about your experiences with arachnophobia. I'm starting to understand her reactions more, but I'm still not sure that I'm at fault for not staying at the stairs with her. So it seems like people are on our side here. Top comment says, I was fully prepared to call you an asshole, but there's a huge difference between being scared of something and having a full-on phobia. But screaming because spider is in the name of something, but being okay with a different name for spider is BS. Not the asshole.
I would agree.
Yeah. Like I said, I think having a phobia is normal. I get it. I have a lot of anxiety, and sometimes I just develop a random phobia over the course of a day for something that is not real or ever going to happen to me.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
It's just what it is. But
we move forward.
Yeah, the world is not going to stop for you, unfortunately. So you're going to have to get the help you need and figure it out.
Well, speaking of phobias and things that scare a lot of people, I mean, AI is scaring a lot of people these days.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
And so we got to wrap up with this one.
It scared us a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, if you haven't watched that one, that's a really fun episode. Go and watch us and see if we can figure out what's real and what's fake. But here we go.
I have PTSD from that.
I don't know. We did all right.
Okay.
We learned something.
We did learn something. That's always good.
Am I overreacting by breaking up with my girlfriend over her use of AI?
I'm already going to say no.
I am female, 26, and my ex-girlfriend is female, 24. I'll call her May for the story. Mm-hmm. We were together for about 2 years and talking about living together soon, so it was a serious relationship. Both me and May work as graphic designers, so career highly threatened by AI. Mm-hmm. I am personally very, very against the use of it, and May has always known this. She primarily works on website design, and her services are very in-depth and pay well. She lays out the entire website, writes most of the attention-grabbing type text on her own, and makes all the graphics you see anywhere herself. Or at least she did. The reason her clients pay such a high price...
Because she's writing it.
Yeah, exactly. It's all personally synthesized. She only needs to do a few projects a year, pays well. Is because everything's done by hand, personal, unique to her style, and it takes a little time and skill. Or rather, it takes a lot of time and skill. So in my opinion, the use of AI is not only personally insulting, but comparable to some form of fraud. She's lying to her clients. May always shows me the websites she's making, and she goes along to ask for input. She didn't tell me she began using AI and hid it from me and absolutely everybody who knows her. But I noticed some parts of her most recent project just looked different. The graphics didn't at all flow well together and didn't really fit her usual style. Some of the text very much read like a bot writes it. She was also seemingly going in hyperspeed. She usually could spend like a week on just the opening page, but had this all done in a day. So I got suspicious. I asked her outright if she had used AI, and she lied, telling me no, she didn't. Okay. But I know she was lying.
That's where the problem, I think, comes in.
So I'm not happy to admit, but I went into her work computer one day while I was sleeping over at her house and found a ton of chat history with a bot asking for text blocks, how to write key phrases, and an AI program installed that made graphics. I confronted her the next day, and then she spilled everything, saying she didn't want to tell me because she knows how I feel, but she doesn't see a problem with using it and thinks we need to use the tools we have. AI isn't a tool, it's cheating. And I asked her if she at least made the client aware of this and adjusted her price, which she replied, they don't need to know my process. We argued about it over the course of a couple days. I gave her an opportunity to at least make her client aware, which would make it a lot less bad to me anyway, and maybe I could forgive her. But overall, being lied to, the lying to the client, especially the use of AI itself, when something I'm personally very against, I couldn't see myself staying in the relationship. So yesterday, I broke up with her. She thinks it's an overreaction and not a good reason to leave someone. She is honestly very hurt, and I still care about her as a person, but I couldn't agree with what she's doing. Am I overreacting?
I think this is very complicated because I think the problem that I would have is being lied to.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think not so much the AI of it all, which it seems to be like she's suggesting more was the issue. I think the problem was that she lied about it.
No, I totally agree. I think that that's why this person feels so violated. I think that, and I know that plenty of people have these sort of strong feelings about AI one way or the other.
Yeah.
And so it's not surprising to like latch onto that, especially in their field, because it is very like connected to graphic design at this point. One of the most, sort of in threat or highly threatened, as they say, kinds of positions. But I think that
copywriting, because it can write, and that seems like the bulk of what she was doing.
Web design too. I mean, there's lots of coding in that, so coding also definitely being threatened by AI. But I would agree in the sense that like it seems like the lying is probably the most egregious offense here. It's kind of crazy that OP just like went onto her work computer though and is like sleuthing around.
That was going to be my next thing.
That feels kind of invasive.
That was going to be my next thing. I still, no matter what, don't think we should be going through each other's devices, especially if you've been together for 2 years. I feel like you should be able to have a conversation with somebody about this. But to be fair to her, when she tried to have a conversation, she got lied to. So I can see how you would get there. It makes me feel gross, like to imagine going through somebody's stuff. Like to our last Reddit episode, going through somebody's fridge, their drawers, their phone. Like I just feel like that is not my place to be. You will not find me in any of those areas.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like to me, like, is OP overreacting? No, I don't think so. I think that if you feel like you're being lied to like that, you could break up with someone. I think that they're kind of an asshole about it, like going in and like sleuthing around like this.
Yeah, I think it's not the way that I expected for AI use to break them up. When you read the title, when I was thinking about what it could be, this was not the way that I would have thought it would have gone. But I think it's valid.
Yeah, and when I'm looking here at the comments, honestly, it's mainly an issue of values. If being anti-AI is important to you, then she was not a match for you anymore, and that's okay. It doesn't have to make sense to other people if it does to you. It's highly subjective.
That's
and that's just
true.
Relationships.
And I think the values part is a really good point, because I think that's kind of what I was trying to get to in my head, but I never quite found that word. If you two disagree on something now that is like has such a bigger societal, social, global, environmental impact, business impact, and like you two don't agree on that, I think it can be hard to continue to have a relationship.
Similar to something we said earlier, if you're reacting to her lying to you, then you're not overreacting. Yeah. Totally agree on that. This one, you're overreacting massively. At this point, anybody doing web design without AI help isn't being competitive, and within a couple of years, they simply won't be able to work in the industry. You're basically asking her to hamstring her career entirely.
I don't know about that. I predict, or I don't predict, my hope is that while this will be something that is involved in our lives probably from here on out, that the obsession with it will dissipate at least somewhat.
Exactly. I mean, it will be a tool that will be used, but it's not going to be, like right now it's a buzzword. Everybody's like hyped up about it.
Yeah.
It's
well,
gonna mellow
who's
out.
everybody?
Yeah.
They're not here with us.
Yeah. Some of us have to go in and edit podcasts by hand.
Yeah, and that's why things sound good. I think that's true to a point. Like, having expertise in your area, you should be able to do it without the use of AI. I think that if there are ways that it can support you, yeah, sure, but not replacing everything.
For sure. I think that being an expert in the field lets you discern like what is a good use of AI. So like a lot of the audio editing plugins, like things that help things sound good, have been using like, if not AI, like they're like AI powered tools or like things that have been fueled by similar processes for a long time. And those are like really good and important tools. But like AI editing itself is just like not in its place to be like a fully sufficient thing right now. Like it doesn't understand, because everybody's so different. People talk so differently.
Yeah, it's something that I don't think that we'll get to a point. Well, I hope we don't get to a point where you really can't distinguish from what a human done and what a human has done and what a computer has done. But I'm gonna keep working with the people, and I think it's valid to break up with somebody if you really can't agree on something that at this point is kind of fundamental.
Yeah.
Makes me sad though.
Yeah, it does. You always hate to see a good thing come to an end.
Yeah, you do. Just like this podcast episode.
Yeah. But, don't be sad that it's over. Be glad that it happened.
Right.
And be glad that there will be more Reddit stories in the future.
Yes.
Because it's always a lot of fun.
It sure is.
That's it for this dive. Thanks for being here. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at wavestream.media. And if you want a podcast like this one, or totally not like this one, visit our website, wavestream.media. See you soon.